Today we are finally starting the Cobra, and I am so excited because this is one of the big three cars for me. The GT40, the Ultimate and the AC Cobra are my favourite kit cars of all time. Obviously, I love the original Cobra and the GT40, but I don't think anybody's going to let me get my hands on that. So when my buddy Adam asked me if I wanted to help bring this thing back to life, there was absolutely no way I could say no. Adam is really itching to drive it, as am I, because this hasn't been on the road in 10 years. Now we've got a couple of things to tackle. We need to do the clutch master cylinder because that's seized and we won't be able to change gear. And obviously we need to get the engine running, which means getting fuel through the system. But I'm about to find out there's a few other issues as well. So here's the problem. The fuel is not getting to the engine, or more importantly, it's not getting to the carburetor. The fuel pump sounds like it's running dry, so we're just gonna order a new one and hopefully that's gonna resolve our issues. Right, so I am back under the Cobra, and at long last, this Holly pump has turned up because that's where we were having the problem before. The pump just wasn't working, it wasn't priming, and now we've got it basically ready to get in the car. So let me just swing this around. Tucked up behind the chassis, we've got these inboard brakes here, and then the fuel pump. So that's got to come out, and then next stage is going to be running this up. Ooh, there's got to be an easier way of doing this. So fuel line's got to come off. Can you find where it goes through? Yeah, and then what's on the other end?
Yeah, rubber hose that goes all the way through the boot.
It's going a metre back to come 2 metres forward?
Yeah.
Okay, well basically we need to get rid of that because that's a lot of cable for no real reason. I'm trying to release off this other hose and I've just got this horrible feeling that I'm gonna get it released off and then it's just gonna go make a mess of me, but it shouldn't do because it's going in by the top and it wasn't priming. Oh, hang on. Oh, shit. Pulled the bloody cable out. It's annoying that this connector's stuck on because this is not the way I'd normally like to do this. Nobody smoke because I ain't getting out of here fast. Right, yeah, take that. That's done. Right, so that is the pump in. We've got the hoses back on, feed from the fuel tank, feed to the pressure regulator in the under the bonnet. We're now just going to put these a couple of clips on these and hook that up, and we are ready to go. So this is a little thing that's been causing the problems. And you can see it now. I'm going to take it home and take it apart. I'm not convinced that this thing is actually dead. I think it's more likely it's gunked up with stuff. So I'm going to hang on to that, see if it actually works. Okay, it's not the fuel pump because that would obviously be far too simple. We have been from the carburetor back to the fuel pressure regulator. We have the old pressure regulator and the new one. We've been through the lines back to the pump. We've checked the new pump and the old pump. We've been through the lines back to the tank and we have found we have a blockage in the pickup pipe, and that pipe was of course welded into the tank. So we now have to take the tank out, drain it, fill it with water to make sure there's nothing in there that's going to set fire, cut the pipe out, clear it, wash the tank out, re-weld it and put it all back together again. Fortunately though, Adam wants this car debumpered, so it's got to go anyway, so we're going to do that now. We've got the bumper off and we're looking at this for the first time without it on. It looks really nice, doesn't it? That is just, I think it looks better. On here there's going to be these sort of like forks that come out. It's just basically a plate that comes through these two holes, and it's basically the quick lift system they used to use in racing cars. So we're going to put those on, which will be really nice and subtle, and we might even have them powder coated black so they're not on your face. But that just looks wicked. I think if I was being honest at the moment, I'm stopping to look at the car without the bumper on because I just don't want to tackle the tank. Should we get this out of the way and get underneath it?
Yep, let's do it.
Right, so I'm going to bring you down here. This is like the world's most unflattering view. But basically, what we've got here is the tank has got a steel L-shaped bar that runs all the way along the back behind the bumper, and it's bolted to the chassis each side. And then it has these straps that go around it, which seem to be welded at the front, welded at the back, but there is one that we've managed to release off this bolt here, which goes over the top. I can't imagine that you have to remove the suspension or start taking bolts off the suspension to remove the fuel tank. So what we're going to do is we're going to hope that by releasing this bar at the back, the whole thing drops down, and that gives us enough room to pull the tank out to the side. But so far nothing's made sense. There we go. We've got the tank out. It's clearly in a state. I think it's probably almost worth contacting Dax to see if they do a more modern plastic one. But the first thing we need to do is make this safe. So we need to get the fuel out and then we can start safely doing stuff to it. So let's get rid of this fuel. We're back with the Cobra and we've been backwards and forwards because we thought we had problems with the fuel pump. We thought we had problems with the fuel pressure regulator. We then found we had problems with the fuel lines, but it wasn't the fuel lines, it was the fuel tank. So we then had to take the fuel tank out. We then had to cut out the pipe to find out the pipe was blocked on the inside of the tank. It's one of those things, it's quite an old tank. So we are now at the point that we're going to put a jerry can onto the fuel pump, brand new fuel pump, and start this for the first time and hear what it sounds like. And you've got the fire extinguisher. See if it pulls the fuel through. Ah, fuel pressure.
Oh bollocks.
What's wrong?
It's leaking out of somewhere and gone right into the bowl.
Oh no.
Boil off.
But why is it coming out of there? So unfortunately, we seem to have a blockage. So now the carb is coming off and going home with me. Fortunately, I quite like taking carbs apart. Right, so this feels like it's taken an absolute age, but we definitely know we've now got a problem in here. And I'm gonna work my way through a rebuild. Now, I've got a box of bits here. So these are all the gaskets that have to go into this when I rebuild it. These are new floats, a series of cleaning tools, jets and adjusters and all sorts of bits. This is an Edelbrock carburetor, it's a 4-barrel carburetor with, I believe, a progressive twin choke, which basically means that when you open it opens up 2 of the barrels and then progressively the next 2. So when you've got it full open, that's where you've got the most amount of fuel going through. So let's get on to tearing this down. Right, so that is the carburetor rebuilt, new gaskets, we've got new floats, springs, I've even replaced the brass bolts with stainless ones. Everyone says to me that you shouldn't put stainless with aluminium, but I've never had any problems over the years. I've got the original brass bolts, they're a bit corroded, and I can replace them if needs be, but for now, these will do the trick. So, let's get in the car. I can't believe this. So, basically, I've rebuilt the carb, it's got all new gaskets in it and there's still fuel leaking out of it. And I spoke to a couple of buddies and I said, there's something I'm not getting right. I put all new parts in it, I put it back together, I double and triple checked everything. And they said, have you set the floats? And I went, what do you mean set them? They're brand new. They said, no, you have to bend the arms of the floats to get them to sit in the right place so that when the fuel comes in and they get to a certain point, they shut everything off. And that's what I've got wrong. I feel like kind of a bit of an idiot, but then you don't know what you don't know. So that's what I can do now. When I say adjust it, there isn't like a grub screw or something you adjust, like physically bend part of the metal frame so that the float sits in the right place to stop the fuel basically making its way through. It stays open, the fuel comes through the system and just pours out the top. And it was an absolute nightmare, but this is now rebuilt. These have to be 7/16 high, the gap at the end. So how you get that 11.1 millimeters, I don't really know, but I have 3D printed this little tool. It's got a fat bit at the end so you can get a good hold on it. And then if you go in here, you can measure that it is 11 millimeters gap. So you can do that on both sides and we are good to go. So now I've got to get this all sat back in. Cool, so let's get the bolts back in and get this back on. So all the hoses are back on, everything's in. Now the moment of truth, just fingers crossed, it pumps and then the fuel stops. And there is no fuel coming out, but there is when we throttle it. So that's good. We can now start it. I better call Adam to get him over here to be here. Don't want to start the thing for the first time in a long, long time without the owner. Let's do that.
5 minutes later.
Should we do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
That sounds absolute. I mean, we're not going to use my language here, bad language. It sounds incredible. I don't know how well the microphone can pick it up. And it is smoky in here, and really we should be out on the drive. And this is the 4th or 5th time we tried to get together to get this started. Every time we've had a problem. Thank you so much for watching. It's running now. Now we need to work on getting it on the road. We'll see you soon. Cheers. That sounds unbelievable. But I am very conscious that it's late and all the people around here are very old.